Well, hello again, everybody. This is Stan down here in Puerto Vallarta with your weekly video fishing report with some interesting news this week. You know, we've gotten in that time of the year now where the humidity is always going to be high, and we're always on the verge of a tropical storm, or, you know, they got all kinds of different things they have down here. But the fact of the matter is that right now is the time of year when the fishing starts getting good. Now, we just had our first hurricane go through. It was about 200 miles out, and they were all getting excited around here. And, you know, the public address systems were warning everybody about a yellow alert, and the thing was 2 days away. So it's kind of hard to take some of these things seriously, especially if you understand what's going on. But the fact of the matter is that we did have our first hurricane of the season go by, and even though it was called Enrique, so it's interesting, but we had our first hurricane of the real hurricane of the season go by, and we were kind of hoping things would change a little bit, and they did a little bit, not a whole lot. Normally when a hurricane goes through, it'll either push fish into the area or it'll push fish out of the area. And since it was so far out, I was kind of thinking that anything closer would be pushed in. And what we've seen now is at Corbetena, we've seen an increased number of the Blue Marlin out there, which right now are running about 350 to 500 pounds. They're taking bait, and they're, well, like I said, the numbers have increased a little bit. The water temperature is still about 84, 85 degrees out there, and we're seeing a lot of bait. That seems to be an issue out there right now. Bait is an issue because when you have so much bait and a lot of varied kind of bait, sometimes it's hard to get them to turn your head. So you have to really hit them pretty hard when the bite is happening, and that's all important. Right now we're seeing a lot of, they're called needlefish. Some people will call them a false marlin. They're a long, thin fish, and they do have a small bill on them. But when they're babies, they look just like ballyhoos, and boy, do they love to eat those things out there. I mean, everything is just chowing down on them. So right now, bait can be a little bit of an issue, but you know what, to be honest with you, we always have a whole lot of bait. You always have to deal with that, so don't let that be, you know, the kind of deciding factor that keep you from doing anything. We've also got some yellowfin tuna out there, depending on what's going on. They can be 40, 60, excuse me. They can be 40, 60, 80, maybe 100 pounds. And they move in and out. You really never know what's going on. You just want to be out there a little bit earlier. The bite's been happening anywhere between 7:30 in the morning and around 10 o'clock in the midday. And then after that, it's about 3 o'clock again. So you want to kind of miss the midday hours right now. Although the fish will hit all day, all hours during the day. Sailfish are out there. We still have striped marlin. The numbers are going down, but we still have striped marlin. We haven't seen any Dorado out there as yet. So the big species, like I said, are out there: Blue Marlin, striped marlin, yellowfin tuna, and Dorado should be coming in soon. We have been having a lot of rain here lately, so we do have a trash line inside the bay finally, so that's a good thing. As the trash line will move farther out and become more mature, that has a tendency to be a little better for fishing. So the daily trash line inside the bay, yeah, we'll go in front of it and we'll try to, you know, throw some planers and fish under it. You never know how thick it is. It's never really too thick. It's not too thick, but you know, you get planers that go down about 6 feet. Usually you can make sure you're in clear water under there, and there'll be a lot of fish feeding on that trash line. There's a lot of organic type things: leaves, twigs, seeds. These fish will pretty much eat anything out there. So the trash line is a good thing. A mature trash line is better, and the farther out the trash line is better your luck will be with especially Dorado. El Banco, the bank over there, it's been disappointing. You know, I don't know how accurate this is, but years ago I had a friend who went out there and they were diving. They were out there diving, and he tells me that some of those nets from the old seiners that were fishing illegally in the area broke off on the high spots. Now, Corbetena's got a couple of points, one that's down at 65, and the other's about 55, 60 feet. And what happens is they're like stalactites, stalagmites, I forgot which one it is, but it looks just like that. And these small fish swim around there, but underneath those points, it's a whole ecosystem out there. So I always say it's bigger at the bank, but with the broken nets that are swinging around in the currents out there, it has a tendency to kind of keep the small bait fish from, well, hanging out, and which draw in turn keeps from drawing big fish because there's nothing there to eat. So the bank has been pretty sad situation for the last few years. It could be better if somebody went out there and took those nests off, but you know, who's going to do that? I don't know. And that's the downside. Over by Morro, right off the backside there, we're seeing sailfish. We got striped marlin from Morro to about 5 miles before you come to Corbetena. That seems to be a real hot spot. And then, of course, up to Corbetena again, anything is possible. We're seeing a lot of, we're seeing rooster fish on the backside of Morro. Some of them are 35, 40 pounds. Some can be 60 pounds. They're on and off. And funny thing about rooster fish, it seems like when they're there, they're good. And when they're not there, well, they just kind of disappear. It goes from night and day. So they're out there right now, and they've been taking bait. So if you're in the area, it might be a good thing for you to do. Punta meat out there is still pretty much on the slow side. Again, we're seeing, you know, debris in the water. And if you're, you know, lucky enough to come across a log or something like that, that could be a Dorado gold mine out there. You could have quite a few. They should be averaging around 25 pounds. But right now, I'm not getting any reports of anything like that happening. There have been some reports up by Sayulita of sailfish. And about 10 miles off the point, there are at the point of Punta Mita, you could see some stripers out there. And with the Blue Marlin running, they'll be in that whole area right now. You know, the numbers are picking up a little bit again with the hurricane, but they're not anything that like they'd be like here in maybe a couple, 3 weeks. Once we get into July, the water temperatures are warm and the species and everything starts coming on. So we're looking forward to, you know, next couple of weeks, things should be improving here, and we are getting more people every day looking for boats and things. I would say probably your best bang for your buck right now is still inside the bay. Over by Los Arcos, you know, we got a channel that goes clean out to Corbetena, which is 35 miles out, and it seems to be like a highway for a lot of species over there. There are a lot of Dorado in the Los Arcos area. They're running anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds. Thankfully, most of these guys are throwing back anything under 10 pounds. They seem to be predominantly females, and they are full of eggs, even though they're all only 7 pounds. So we need to remember that we have to throw these fish back so that we'll have a future. Now, the Dorado for the last few years were really going down in numbers, and it was well, to be honest with you, Dorado was the only seafood, the only species of fish you could actually ship out of Mexico without having a permit. And they changed that law here about 4 or 5 years ago, and we're seeing more and more Dorado earlier and earlier in the year. So that's an indication the numbers are picking up. That's a very good thing. So hopefully in a couple of years we'll be back to the way it used to be, where we're seeing Dorado, you know, in late April, early May, we'd be babies out there, and then usually by mid-June they're 20 pounds, and by the time we get to July they're 25, 30 pounds. They're everywhere. So, but every year it's a little bit different. But the good news is we have Dorado that are coming back. We have them inside the bay, and as long as you're a real sportsman, you're throwing back the babies. You know, maybe keep one for dinner, but you know, don't keep an excessive amount. And remember, you can only bring home 50 pounds worth of fish on the airplane with you. You can't ship it, so really, you know, be a sportsman and just don't abuse the situation out there. It'd be better for everybody in the long run. Like I said, inside the Bay, Los Arcos has Dorado. We've been seeing some freak sailfish and some small stripers out there, so anything can happen in a 6-hour trip. We still have Jack Revels, which is a little surprising to me because they're a cold water fish, but they are coming up. If you see a boil and you got the bite just right, they're a lot of fun to catch. They're running anywhere from 20 to about 35 pounds, but again, for me, it's surprising that they're still here since it's a cold water species. Sierra mackerels are still over there by the buoy in the morning. You know, you want to be out there early. Once boats start going out there, they seem to disappear, so get out there, be the early bird at the buoy, and somewhere around 7 o'clock, 7:30, and we get a whole bunch of mackerel. They're good tasting, easy to catch. Not too big, but they're good for little kids and for people that have never been fishing before. So it's, you want to catch something, you want to reel something in, you'll be able to get those. What else do we have? Well, Pepino told me yesterday that we have red snapper out there. I'm sorry to back up on this. We have red snapper out there at Morro, and they're running about 15 pounds as well. So we got a bunch of different species in the area. You don't know what you're going to run into at any given time, but there are fish out there, and the numbers are still a little bit on the lower side than what we would hope for, but they're picking up every week. The bait situation, you couldn't get any more bait out there. I mean, every bait you can think of is out there. I can make a whole list of it, but ballyhoos are one of them. Goggle eyes, flying fish. We've got the needlefish, like I was telling you about, which are just like ballyhoos, and the list goes on. It's just ridiculous. So the fishing is pretty good out there. you know, we're in hurricane season now, so we all got to remember that it does rain. A lot of times it does rain in the morning. If you're made of sugar, you probably should not be booking a trip, because, you know, there is a possibility you're going to get rained on in the morning before you come down to the boat. Now, the boats have shade, so you'll be dry on the boat, but from the car to the boat, you know, and in between, it could be a little bit of a wetness thing. We don't really get rain for long periods of day during the day. Now, we will at night, unless there's a storm coming through or something like that. Normally, we are dry during the day. We'll get some, you know, rain weather in the evening, and might stretch into the morning. And normally, after about 8 o'clock, it's, you know, 80% of the time it's gone. So if you're made of sugar, fishing probably isn't for you. The good news is, when it is raining, the bite is always much better. Fish seem to get excited when water hits the surface of the water. Rain hits the surface of the water. It looks like fish jumping back into the bait. And in fact, that's an old trick for Dorado. If you have a lot of Dorado out there, they won't take any bait. You take your washdown hose, kind of spray it all over and let it hit the water, and then throw a bait right in the middle of it. So that's, I don't know if that's a dirty trick on Dorado or not, but it seems to work. So it's just an example of how rain on the water can help your day, as a matter of fact. So don't be afraid of rain. And well, from this point on, we're going to be seeing some better fishing. The fish will be getting bigger. The numbers will be increasing. We're seeing a lot more people down here than we actually expected. The United States has opened up pretty wide. The poor Canadians are still pretty much locked down up there, and there's not a whole lot they can do about that. But the Americans are down here. They're fishing. We have a much higher level of tourism than you would expect. But then again, when the tourist weeks and months were here, we didn't have anybody then. So I guess it's not all that surprising. And human nature is human nature. People are coming down, so it's fine. We're having a good time. And like always, if you need a boat, give us a call. We got tours we do, private tours and bus transfers, and, you know, we've got transportation, and of course we got the shirts, and we got the online stuff and video reports, and we're pretty busy boys around here. But as always, if you feel like you know, giving me a call, fire me an email, ask me anything you want with a name like Masturbators. You might be surprised at some of the questions we get asked, and but I will answer anything you ask me, and we can go from there. So for now, thanks for watching. You know, these video reports seem to be very popular. Right? It's not like we're getting thousands and thousands of hits or anything on this, but I do have a good solid core of people that are coming down, and they've been paying attention to them. So I just want to thank you all, my loyal readers, that you get these on the video report, you get these on the newsletter. So I just want to thank all you guys for watching. And you know, in the world of YouTube, every like gets the message out a little farther to other people. So like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll be here to support you any way we can when you come on down. Puerto Vallarta is wide open. It's safe, and well, frankly, if I had to be anywhere in the world for this COVID thing, I'm glad I was here in Puerto Vallarta. It was, you know, we had our times, but all in all, I think we came out pretty good. You're antiseptic before you get down here, and you're antiseptic when you get back on a plane. So I'll tell you right now, it would surprise me if you even got a cold around here the way everything's so set up. I mean, I'm fine. I haven't had any problems. And but for now, anyway, thanks for watching, and keep in touch. And as always, don't forget to catch your fish. Hemingway used to, that was Hemingway's thing. So don't forget to catch your fish, and adios until next week. This is Stan again in Puerto Vallarta saying, have fun. Yeah.